Welcome to What Are You Reading? A podcast with the Public Library of Mount Vernon in Knox County. I'm Christy.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to the new year, 2024. Mm-hmm. Woo! we didn't want to say this was our year because we didn't want to jinx it. I'm going to knock on wood. We're hoping for another great year with a lot of awesome recommendations for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So we had kind of talked about different themes that we might want to do for January because of it's a new year, fresh start, all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we both aren't really big on resolutions. So we didn't want to set any expectations for ourselves. Keeping the bar really low around here.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked it over, and I thought, well, we both wanted to get into more nonfiction reading.
Mm-hmm.
And we just wanted to pick something that might be a little bit inspiring for something that we've been meaning to do but haven't had time to do yet.
Yeah.
So mine happened to be my house. So I've lived in my house for about 6 years or so now.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, there's still boxes. Oops. So this year I was like, okay, I really want to focus on my home.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to start putting some time and effort into some things that I've kind of just let to the wayside. So I chose The Sensory Home, an inspiring guide to mindful decorating. And this is by Pippa Jamieson, who's a designer. And it's all about how to mindfully design your home. So not falling into those pitfalls of what's popular, like what's on my Pinterest board. Mm-hmm. What are, say, Chip and Joanna doing at Magnolia Homes? All of those things are wonderful and awesome, but she's bringing in the mindset of how to decorate your home.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what did you choose?
So I got inspired back in November. I did National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo, as it's called in the industry. And I've been working on a novel off and on for a very long time. So this year I'd like to try and get some more traction with it. So I read You, the Story by Ruta Sepetys. She is a YA and adult, primarily historical fiction writer. And what I really liked about this one was she does give you some of the basics of, plot, voice, character development, those kind of things. But she does it from an angle of using your life experiences as fodder for your fiction.
Wow.
So there's lots of stories about her growing up in here, too. One of the things that I really liked also is at the end she's got a recap. So if you're like, I really don't think I can learn anything new about plot, you can just skip to the end of the chapter and read the thing, and then it has writing prompts also.
Wow.
that deal with the different parts of story.
Oh, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of almost like a little bit of a workbook type exercise element to the book as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you're wanting to get back into writing or you don't know a whole lot about writing,
mm-hmm.
it's a good primary resource basics. It's also good if I was a creative writing major in college, so it was a good refresher.
Mm-hmm.
And with her examples, it makes things easier to understand. And you can also use it for fiction or nonfiction. Mm-hmm. So if you are writing a memoir, if you want it to read like a novel, this would help as well.
Okay. That's usually what gets me, hooks me. Mm-hmm. Is when it is when they're written like a novel, because I think a good example, there's a couple examples that I've read recently. I just finished reading Britney Spears' book, and it was so conversational that I felt like she was just sitting down and talking to me, and that actually was really I feel like that worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't expecting that, but it was kind of like she was sitting across from the table and just telling me a life story.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome. And I was done with it before I even realized, how quickly I'd read it. So, hey, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I loved the cover on that one.
Yes, the cover is super pretty.
For anybody that's listening and not on video at home, the cover of this, it's an open-faced book, and it's like a tree with a bench and birds flying overhead made with the pages.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, it was really pretty on the outside and very good on the inside. I haven't read any of her fiction yet. Mm-hmm. She's on my TBR, and I think she might have to be moved a little bit further up on the TBR.
It sounds like it.
Because this is written pretty conversationally as well. And she does give some really good tips. Some of them on like how to making sure that you change stuff enough that you don't get sued.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
So like using the essence. Unless you are doing something that's more nonfiction-y.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds super useful. Especially my major in college was English Lit, and so I love dissecting it, but I'm not the one to produce it. I'll critique it all day long, but I would love to get into writing more. So. Might have to be something I put on my TBR too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That would be awesome. I was thinking that, like I said earlier, I have all these projects in my head and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I also wanted something that to start out the new year was very visual. So I've been reading we both have been reading a lot of dense stuff lately. And I kind of just needed a break and to kind of breathe. And that's why I picked the sensory home, because I kind of just picked a page and I opened to it and I thought, oh my gosh, how beautiful is this? So once I took it home and I started really reading through it and I started to understand where Pippa was coming from, it actually ended up being such a good find for me, because she has someone in her life with autism, and I have quite a few people in my life with autism. And that is one of the neurodivergent things that she discusses in here, is how to create a living space that works for people that might be neurotypical, might be neurodivergent, the effects that the colors and the designs of our rooms have on us and our mental health.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool to have her break down why a room that isn't facing the sun and is painted gray might actually be, leading to a little bit of depression. Mm-hmm. Or you've painted your bedroom this beautiful bright color that you saw on the wall at Lowe's or Home Depot, and you get it home and you're like, why can't I turn my brain off? Well, if you're trying to sleep in a sunshine yellow room, that might not be what works best for you and your mental health, even if your eye says, oh, I love it. That's exactly what I want. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it might not work out for other reasons we don't even see coming. Mm-hmm. I did flag a couple pages that I wanted to share because I just thought they were so beautiful, and to give you kind of an idea of what I'm going for with my house this year.
Behind the scenes look.
Right? So you guys hopefully I can talk my husband into helping me out with this. But she gives some really great examples about kind of bringing nature into your home. Mm-hmm. So I happen to not really have a green thumb. I'm the kind of person that I will go buy a bush, I'll plant it, and best of luck to you, So bringing myself to the outside is probably a better idea. Mm-hmm. So she talks about ways to incorporate bringing the inside outside and the outside in. So I really loved this, and I'm currently trying to talk my husband into painting our living room black because we have a lot of wood as well. Shocker, black's my favorite hue here. So I've been trying to send him examples look. So when I brought this home, I was really excited to explain the breakdown of it and some of the mental health benefits and some of the reasons why things like this are getting really popular. This is another great example. So those of us that are listening to us, It's just this beautiful wooden space that also has this huge picture window looking out into a field with trees and things like that. Now, not all of us have the budget or the ability to do a lot of these things, but there's a lot of tips in here of ways that you can do small things to change your space. So adding in more accents of greenery, or bringing in wooden pieces, or changing the color of your cabinet or something like that. Just even a little thing can really change how you're feeling about your space. So yeah, this was a great one.
Yeah, and I'm. It's interesting that you mentioned the neurodivergent part of it, because when I look at those pictures, they are very calm and cozy.
Yes.
So that makes complete sense.
Definitely. And that is very much what this is about, is we are, especially here in America, we are doing things 24/7. We're stimulated all the time. So having your home, or having a space, any space that you can find that you have some privacy, that you can tailor to your well-being, is so important. And honestly, I hadn't really thought about that, because I was falling victim to what's on HGTV.
Yeah.
What is on my Pinterest board? What are people posting on Instagram? And I wasn't thinking about what I find comforting and calming. So this definitely brought that back into perspective.
Yeah, and even just looking at those few pictures, they look like the home is lived in.
Yes.
Because, I too have an HGTV obsession.
Yes.
So, and it's really neat, but at the same time, it's like, are you afraid to touch anything?
Yeah.
So, whereas, like, making the house welcoming, that says, like, sit down and rest for a while, as opposed to being like, look at all my pretty things.
Absolutely. Like, you're welcome here. And if you're not being met with a china cabinet, it's worth $1 billion, you know? It definitely helps with the anxiety. And seeing these, like Katie mentioned, even this cover, the fluffy blanket, and, kind of this calming, still bright, still cheerful, but yet relaxing, visually not as stimulating space, because those little boxes we carry in our pocket, that's enough color and stimulation, constantly. So having a space like this, you can crack open a good book and, get your tea, your coffee, your water bottle ready, and just try to enjoy the time that you have at home.
Yeah.
Just kind of rare these days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us for another podcast. We're so excited for 2024. We have so much awesome content coming your way. We're really excited for February as well, because it is the month of Valentine's and hearts and all that good stuff. So we'll have some fun, juicy stuff for February coming too. So stay tuned. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.